If you want, I can do like, your short intro, that stuff, read it off.
I mean, I'm cool to go with the flow, whatever you.
Leading the way, shining bright like the healing rays. 420 patients, we stand as one. Safe access for everyone. Oh, we rise up, lifted higher. Medicine fueled by love and fire. Together we blaze, together we laugh. Patients for safe access.
The following production has been brought to you by the Hippie Broadcasting Network, WTHC Radio, and Stoner Records. Now, here's your host, Summer Parker.
Gotta love that, right? An intro song. So, welcome in for season 2. I want to say this is episode 4 of Patients for Safe Access of Oklahoma. Patients for Safe Access, period. WTHC Radio / the Hippie Broadcasting Network. And if you've not hit that like and subscribe yet, please go do so on the WTHC Radio YouTube as well as online at DabbingNana78. And this gentleman over here to my side is Mr. Kelly Walsh. And we'll be speaking a lot with him today. He's my guest for the hour. And Kelly has been doing lots of things here in Oklahoma recently. And I got the opportunity to meet you at our Protect Patient Rights rally. And I got to say, you were styling and profiling in the shirt that you were wearing that day. It had all cannabis leaves, multicolored. It was great.
That was the first time. Sorry to interrupt. That was the only time I've had the opportunity to wear that shirt. And it's like, yes. That's what it was sitting in my closet for.
I love that. Yeah. It was weird because like that day, I didn't get the opportunity really to talk with you much, kind of having to flutter around everybody, being the host event type thing. And so it was afterwards that someone reached out to me and was like, oh, hey, you need to get Kelly Walsh on your show. He's doing this and this and this. And at the time that you were running for House District 1 here in Oklahoma for a seat. And do you want to kind of tell everybody kind of why you decided to run in the first place?
So it was a bit hubris, curiosity, and a personal civil right violation. It was incredibly easy to file and get my name on the ballot. And then I'll end up doing that in the future for probably not necessarily a federal position, but start with local or state. Mm-hmm. But I wanted to learn the process. So I just dove in, right? And I went down to the state capitol. You have to be there April 1st or 1st through the 3rd. It's $1,000 filing fee. And I'm the type of person who learns by being hands-on. Mm-hmm. So that's that was kind of my introduction to politics.
Gotcha. Yeah. I'm not going to lie. I felt out this whole process this round to see how it works as well, but kind of from the outside instead of the inside, like you chose to on it. But I honestly think in the future, I could see myself, running for like a city council seat or something like that. Just, to try to make effective change from the inside. So I see why you did it. I
definitely think people from the cannabis community should get more involved. Mm-hmm. So on top of the procedural stuff, I learned kind of what resources were available to Republican candidates. It's like mm-hmm. the GOP has a data center with voter contact information for basically everyone in the state, Democrats and Republicans. They have personal addresses, names, phone numbers. Mm-hmm. So there's a lot of valuable information available if you decide to run. And it's like, I wouldn't have known that prior to running because I feel like they keep a lot of it close to their chest.
Right.
In terms of events that are hosted by the GOP, I had no prior knowledge. Like I know they existed, but in terms of like who to meet, who's putting it on, where you're going to be,
Yeah.
a lot of that, like you wouldn't know until you start to get involved. So it's like, yeah, as the campaign progresses, it's like you slowly learn a bit more.
Right. So are you thankful that you went through the process of running?
Yeah, I would definitely do it again. Like, so for me, it was a large chunk of change, but relatively small compared to a lot of the other candidates.
Right.
Like if you look at by the end of the campaign, I think I spent like $5,000, but you have people like Nathan Butterfield who spent north of $1 million. And whenever you look at the FEC filings, you had two candidates that spent more than $1 million. Then you had Kim David, Jed Cochran, Todd Woods. They all spent more than $125,000, and that's of May 27th.
Right.
Whenever they filed their final report, July 15th, that number is going to be much higher, I'm sure.
Oh, I'm sure.
And then whenever you look at their vote count, their cost per vote was anywhere from $30 to $80. Like it's insanely high, and that's conservative because I know they haven't reported everything yet. So it's like just to see what people respond to, like what kind of advertising is effective, like do yard signs work? Because like everybody driving around Tulsa, you'll see so many yard signs, but is that an effective? Does that motivate people to go vote for you? Like, are people learning about your campaign or your like who you are as a person? So it's like that's the kind of thing you wouldn't necessarily learn without trying something.
Yeah.
I was gonna say one of the things I did do because I had that voter contact information is I had a text campaign. I extracted 51,500 phone numbers for people who were concerned about inflation in 2022. And I only sent them two texts. I sent them a text on June 9th, 1 week before the election, and then I sent them a text the day before, on like Monday, the day before. And my opt-out rate was 10%. But honestly, like considering I had texted 50,000 people, I thought the policy positions I texted, I thought my voter turnout or like the number of votes I received, I thought that was going to be a little bit higher. But like my cost per vote is like $2 or $3 versus, like I said, people who were spending $50 to $80. But I mean, maybe they got more, a couple thousand more votes. But it's like when you look at the amount of money they spent, was it worth it?
Right. I was actually going to ask you the cost per vote for yours with, such a minimal, I'm not going to say minimal investment because that's not the right words, cost to do it as well.
Yeah.
Say. So, well,
yeah, I would say per vote, I spent $2 or $3, but
yeah,
it's, I'd say it was worth the education.
So Skunky's asking, he says they missed your stance on marijuana, but Skunky, we actually hadn't gotten there yet. So, but I can tell you, and I'll let you tell him yourself. So Kelly, would you please tell people your stance on marijuana? But ahead of that, maybe the results of the election and what you were campaigning for you.
Okay. So ultimately Mark Tedford won. But there was supposed to be a runoff against Jackson Lawmeyer. If you go read the news, you'll see why Jackson Lawmeyer had to drop out. But Tedford is going to be running against John Croissant in November now. But in terms of like my stance on marijuana, I'm pro cannabis. I test cannabis for pesticides. I've been an analytical chemist for more than a decade. I have my bachelor's of science in chemistry from Missouri University of Science and Tech. I worked for a pharmaceutical manufacturer immediately after graduating. I did drug assays on controlled substances. I did that for 3.5 years before going to work for petroleum refinery. And I was there for a bit more than 4 years before I got burned out from the commute, and I wanted to find something closer to home. I was actually fortunate enough to work on State Question 820. The first attempt to legalize recreational marijuana after medical had passed. I was there on day one for that campaign, and I was there basically until the end. And in the process, I collected 3,499 signatures. I have that documented. I was very friendly with David Skipper. He was the attorney / campaign administrator who kind of had final legal say for everyone else. But he had that documented, so it's like I have some proof that I collected those signatures. But
how long have you been an analytical chemist in your current job?
I've been with OKCTL for 3.5 years. Yeah, a bit more than 3.5 years. It's
Okay.
I had a lot of analytical chemistry experience prior to working with OKCTL, but I didn't have any mass spec experience. And I was fortunate because OKCTL worked with Ken Roberts. He's the chemistry department chair at Tulsa University, and he was the one who showed me how to basically how to work with the mass spec, how to clean it, how to tune it. Like he gave me the rundown, and I taught myself from there as well.
So you might have even been one of the analysts that tested our products when we brought them in then.
Oh, Grace Farm? No, I'm the only pesticide analyst at OKCTL. Like I've shown if I go on vacation, there's a couple other people who can basically like report data or do what I do. But yeah, no, I remember this coming up, and I was the analyst to test the Grace Farm product.
Well, that's interesting and good to know as well. So, I know this is going to come up either throughout this process or later. So I just was going to go ahead and throw it out of there. But I want you to know that I have never contested any results I've ever received, actually from any of the labs in which I've tested with. You know what I mean? Not just you guys, but any of them. And so I've actually, had somebody reach out to me that's one of my sponsors and was asking me if I would be willing to test at additional labs than what I'm currently testing with, right? And I was like, yeah, absolutely. I'm always welcome, open up and welcome to work with anyone else that wants to. And they actually mentioned working with OKCTL Labs again. And I was like, we'd have to have some conversations, but yeah, absolutely. Why not? I didn't dispute the test results that I received. And I'll just leave it at that. You know what I mean?
I was gonna say, I've always had to provide proof of work for customers who get angry. Like it doesn't bother me at all, right? So anytime a pesticide is detected, there's going to be multiple MRM transitions that are displayed.
Maybe
Honestly, I wish I had given you some chromatography that you could share. That way you could see what I see. It's like whenever you detect, like there's no question, right? Like the retention time has to match. Like you need multiple transitions. You need a validated Cal curve with the correlation coefficient greater than 0.99. Like I've had to provide proof of work for several customers who got upset, and they're like, it's because people lose a lot of money if pesticides are detected. It's a tough world, right? Like safety testing is important, but there's also a financial incentive to not detect it. It's because if that customer can't sell their product, that there's the possibility that they can't pay you, even though that you tested with them.
Yep.
So I understand it's a difficult conversation for a lot of people.
Yeah. Whenever when we were testing with you guys was when we were first having the issues of even finding out that there were problems with the products in the market from a patient perspective point of view of it. Obviously, as a lab, you guys see the issues, you know what I mean? But you guys are bound. You're not going to be able to speak on somebody's test results that aren't for you to speak on, right?
Yeah.
So I get that part of it. But when we started doing it and we were bringing stuff down to test, whenever Brandon had explained to us that there was something spiking on the charts that wasn't an analyte that could be identified at the time, and had encouraged that if we did want any further, analytical testing done with an expanded amount of pesticides over what Oklahoma tested for, obviously the answer is you're going to have to take it out of state and have it tested. And Kelly, when I tell you, they took 33 samples to a laboratory in California, to San Diego, and they selected 5 of those samples to have them tested. And it came back that one single pre-roll failed for 19 contaminants. And that was when my eyes went from, oh my God, to, oh my freaking God, because I was like, how can it be failing for more than we even test for in our state? Obviously, I've been an advocate for a pesticide expansion panel because of those issues, right? So would you mind giving me your stance on what a pesticide expansion panel would mean for you guys maybe, or for you?
So I mean, some of it's definitely easily doable because everything's tested via LC-Tandem mass spec, right? So we could, and they're capable of doing a lot. The bulk of everything we test for on instrument is done in the positive polarity. There's some pesticides that will only they're only detectable in negative polarity, and polarity switching is difficult with some instrumentations. There's a couple of pesticides that you need a GC mass spec to test for. But again, like if you could expand the list without imposing large financial cost on the labs, as long as it doesn't require negative polarity or a GC mass spec. But yeah, I mean, there's definitely additional pesticides we should be testing for, because people in the industry know, right? Like we have a short panel. There's a list of 100 pesticides you can go buy. It's like, if you want to use a pesticide, you just use any of the other 70 on your plant, and then we're not going to quantify it. It's additional cost. It's you're going to piss off customers. But from a consumer, that's a large part of the reason I grow my own as well, or I have historically grown my own. Like home grows are the safest grows to consume if you know you're growing medium. So yeah, it's like the flower I smoke at home is generally homegrown.
Yeah. No, I definitely am going to keep fighting for the expansion panel. And I'm actually hopeful that, this year we'll make progress further than we made last year on it and the year before. It would be a great opportunity. I would love to speak with some more labs and get their feedback and their opinions and their thoughts and things like that on an expansion panel and how best to do it, where it doesn't cause a huge financial burden on the labs, because number one, the labs are being slammed all the time, publicly, privately. Labs are slammed in our state. And the thing I always try to remind people is that you guys are testing, every lab in this state is testing what is brought to them. So when you're being brought one thing, you're giving them a COA for that product in good faith that the batch size that they're going to put behind that is representation of your COA. And as we know from the past, we have those bad actors giving very horrible performances who decide to be shady and, put people's health and safety at risk and put something else behind that COA. And I feel bad for the labs in that essence of being slammed by people, for bad labs, bad labbing, dry labbing, things like that.
I was going to say fraud is incredibly easy to commit.
Huh?
I said fraud is incredibly easy to commit.
Yes, it is.
And the sampling that they bring in, like I don't have the batch sizes memorized, but it's like, we're analyzing 0.5 gram and it's supposed to represent 10 pounds. So it's like it's very easy to substitute clean for something that wouldn't be necessarily clean.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I think all in all, between 2023, 2024, and 2025, in the testing that we did at the 3 in-state labs that we have utilized and the 1 out-of-state lab that we have utilized, we have identified 22 pesticides that were at failing levels out of Oklahoma products purchased from retail level.
So one of the other issues, like I only kind of know this by like word of mouth and rumor, is like when you request the expanded pesticide list, you're going to be fighting the Cattlemen's Association in Oklahoma because the crops that they feed their cattle, those crops are located next to marijuana fields at times. And if overspray from those crops contaminates the weed field, now they're legally liable for the pesticide, like for the crop they just
water fed runoff and stuff like that. Yeah, they are 100%. They are, and
so they don't want to see an expanded pesticide list for Oklahoma cannabis consumers. So there's pushback from other industries as well.
I don't know, like that guy on the executive advisory council, his name is David Gherkin, and he is from the Cattlemen's Association. Okay. And we spoke with him, and he's got cannabis farms on either side of his ranch and stuff. And he has serious concerns about that watershed runoff, that gray water, disposal that sometimes isn't being done appropriately and properly, right? Those types of things. And so I think that he's got concerns himself. So I do foresee them starting to come forward with concerns in the future about those issues and how to address them.
Yeah, it's there's no simple answer. Well, I mean, don't grow outside, but I understand that's also an easy way to grow biomass. So I don't know. I'm an analyst, not a grower, so I don't pretend to have answers for them. Like,
yeah. I'm not a grower, but I'm a patient who wants safe, quality medical cannabis in final form at all times. That is our mission statement. I will probably die on that hill. You know what I mean? Until the hill is no longer a hill. So, all right, we're going to move forward just a little bit out of that. Go ahead and tell me a little bit of your early history. And I want to say one of the things that we actually have in commonality is Missouri. Are you familiar with Orion County?
No. So I'm from Southwest Missouri. Berry County is near Table Rock Lake. But I basically grew up along I-44. Grew up in Cassville, went to school in Rolla, Missouri. My first job was in Springfield, Missouri. Whenever I started working at the refinery, I lived in Joplin for a while. So my friends are from Kansas City and St. Louis.
Do you know where West Plains is at?
Yeah, ran cross country there. Yeah.
So I used to live in Alton, Missouri. That's actually where I met my first husband. Have mercy. I got bored in the boot hills of Ozarks in Missouri. What can I say?
Fair. I felt the need to move too, so it's.
I mean, there was great keggers back there in the Ozarks. So.
And there's a lot of shady stuff too. So.
Yeah, there is. So you talked about some stuff with us prior to the show about some stuff that you have going on, and I want to we're going to go back and forth a little bit here, okay? And I apologize for that. But whenever you built your campaign on several different policies platforms that you were speaking openly about, right? And some of those things were, gun rights and cannabis and things like that.
Well, constitutional rights in general, right? Because I feel like it's, I have a very personal example of my rights being violated. But affordability, accountability, and constitutional rights, like those were my three main issues for my campaign.
Gotcha. And what did you hope to bring to make changes for those?
Honestly, I thought my campaign would give me a bigger platform or a larger microphone, it definitely helped me network and meet people who I think are worth continuing to talk to. I thought there would just be more media exposure involved that wasn't necessarily paid for. So that was part of the learning experience as well. I'm the only person in the country with a felony or who's fighting a felony charge for social media posts that don't exist. Like I was previously charged with a felony that was dismissed via noli prosequi. I sued the individual responsible. And then one business day after him being served, I was charged with the second felony. My lawsuit was excluded from the criminal complaint, the probable cause statement, discovery, the police incident report. The prosecutors refused to admit that he was even sued. Like they haven't entered it as evidence. It's like, it's very cool that we pass recreational cannabis, but they can always take it away. It's like our basic rights aren't even guaranteed. And like, that was kind of what motivated me to even like run my campaign or launch my campaign.
Hippie, if you want to start bringing up those pictures, we'll let Kelly tell us what they each are here.
So this is I want to thank you for the opportunity to plug my own website. My website is socialmediaprosecution.com. Like, you can find all of these documents online and more. But this first document is the Nolly Pros Acquai. This is the Amy Lynn Box is the prosecutor. This is her saying that we don't want to take this to trial after I told my attorney to take this to trial. It's like, I told her I'm not accepting a plea deal. I want to take this to trial. And they just said, we really don't want to do that. Nolly Pros Acquai.
That's the first time I've heard that term, and I've had to deal with some civil litigation since about May of 23 now, and that's a new term for me.
So this is criminal, but it's also a way for them to save face, right? Like, they didn't have to dismiss it with prejudice. It was a way to avoid the issue, at least temporarily, for them.
So did all of this start from like a social media post?
A letter, yeah, essentially. It's
okay.
If you go back one, yeah, so this is the civil summons, and then if you look down towards the middle of the page, you can see where it was served on April 5th, 2024. To Lisa, I don't necessarily want to share all the information verbally, but this is proof that he was served, right? And you have my name as the plaintiff, and then my civil litigation attorney is Hunter Altick. And fun fact, my civil litigation attorney is actually a prosecuting attorney in Lawrence County, and Lawrence County neighbors Berry County in Missouri. So the civil lit attorney I hired actually prosecutes criminals as well. So I think I'm amused by it.
Right.
So then this would be the criminal complaint. You'd have to read it all the way through, but it says, so Jared was served on April 5th, according to that civil summons that we just have up. This criminal complaint says that I made social media posts on April 8th that warrant a felony charge. Yeah.
What was the post that they're saying, and do you mind sharing what it said? Or
No, so that's the thing, right? Like, nothing, I didn't send him anything on April 8th. Like, I sued him. I avoided talking to him because I didn't want anything to interfere with my civil lawsuit. Like, I'd be willing to share discovery, but nothing in discovery. The bulk of everything in discovery is undated and poorly cropped screenshots. It's like they charged me with a crime without evidence, and that's why I'm so upset about it. It's there is no social media post on April 8th, which is why, like, the title of my website is what it is.
were there any posts like prior to that they could construe as?
No, no. And especially whenever, so we went to kindergarten together. We grew up together. I was the best man at his wedding. His wedding was officiated by Anthony Larson. We all graduated from Cassville High School in 2008. We all have deep history. There's a lot to this. That's the probable cause statement. The probable cause statement precedes the criminal complaint, but it also says that I made social media posts on April 8th that warrant a felony charge. Again, there's no social media post. If I kind of want to share the police incident report with you sometime, just to show you like what they shared, which is nothing. It's an Adobe, like the image is an Adobe PDF. It doesn't say anything. It's wild. So then this is proof that it's John Luther Young and Amy Lynn Box who are the prosecutors. John Luther Young is the assistant prosecuting attorney. He was actually reprimanded by the Missouri Supreme Court in 2023 for dishonesty. I found that. I shared it with my attorney. I actually shared it with all the local attorneys. I so thoroughly embarrassed them that both, like this very recently, both of the prosecutors asked for a special prosecutor and to be removed from my prosecution, which is, I've never unheard of for me.
Oh, that's something else. There we go.
Yeah. So then this is my website, right? The state of Missouri is prosecuting non-existent social media post. I sued my childhood friend after a former charge. That's the wedding photo. I actually have additional wedding photos, but I didn't necessarily want to put his entire family on blast.
Right.
But I was like, these three individuals, like that's me, that's Jared Selinsky, and that's Officer Anthony Larson. On top of officiating his wedding, Officer Larson married his first cousin, Jamie Everett. So this is it's a small community where this officer has a lot of influence. He went from working with the Cassville Police Department to the Berry County Sheriff's Office. And there's so much more to this story, but the whole point of this was I was charged with a crime for suing someone who had already made false statements to the police to have me criminally charged. It's like we think we have First Amendment rights,
right?
But they can violate your rights in several ways.
And so how long has this case been ongoing for you?
I mean, the email with John Learight was 2023. I think this might have started November of 2022. But I sued Jared. I don't know if you have the receipt. The receipt's on the website, but I paid Hunter Altick $5,000. You can, if you scroll up, it's
He's still on the website. So yeah, just tell him when to stop.
Well, it says Altick Law receipt. A little.
Okay, I see it up there in the right. Yep.
Yep. So I paid Hunter Altick $5,000 to sue him. I have the civil summons. They don't want to acknowledge that because then they'd have to acknowledge that they violated my rights, and there's going to be legal consequences as soon as they acknowledge that, right?
Yeah.
So they're avoiding it. But yeah, no, it's I feel like so much of us take what we have for granted, and all it takes is one bad actor, like one bad moment for our lives to be severely
turned upside down.
Impacted.
Mm-hmm. That's how I feel about the whole experience with Graves Farms. And, I went ahead and I followed the case the whole way through. We followed it through the administrative proceedings through OMA. They were fined $133 million in the end, and obviously, license taken and things like that. But, OMA only proceeded administratively, and the whole process turned my life upside down. I was hospitalized a few times, went back and forth to the emergency room a few times. My boyfriend had adverse health reactions. There are plenty of people out there that have come forward and said, that they consumed the products and had a problem as well. And, it's okay. It's okay that producers or growers put out a harmful product. It's okay that we go buy it from a dispensary. It's okay that we consume it and have a health effect, because you know what? OMA has a health impact form. Just report it, right? It's not okay. And that's one of the reasons why I keep pushing for safer medicine through expansion. And when we were talking a minute ago about that, you were talking about the GCMS and MS and the LCMS MS. So do the majority of the states in the lab, including the one that you're employed with, do they have like the LCMS MS and the GCMS MS as most labs, where they could test all those compounds?
Yeah, and we use the GCMS spec, not necessarily. I think we use it for solvents, not necessarily pesticides, because the pesticide list we have doesn't require it. But we have three LC tandem mass specs. They're all SciX, 2 4500s, a 5500. Whether or not they can use it is a different question. That can be a conversation. Yeah, well, I mean, that can be a conversation for a different time. But one of the things I would like to see professionally is I just had to do this recently. I had to pass a proficiency test for our pesticides. It's every year or every 2 years. But they send you hemp matrix and a vial with a variety of analytes at unknown concentrations, and you're supposed to spike the hemp matrix and then tell them the concentration of pesticides that were in the vial.
Right.
And most any other industry, whenever you do something like this, the test, you submit your answer, and that, like, the accreditation body sends that answer to the regulatory body, right? But here in Oklahoma, like, after I submitted the answer, they emailed us the results saying whether or not we passed or failed, and then we forwarded that to OMA. Like, if we had failed, like, that would be such an easy way to commit, I'm going to say fraud for lack of a better word, It's if you wanted to say that you had passed your proficiency testing, it'd be incredibly easy to forge that document here because you're the intermediary, right? Like
Right.
they should send your pass-fail results to the state and not to you, because it allows for the opportunity of I don't know, bad acting. It's
Yeah. Bad acting comes into spaces that are allowed to do so. And whenever there are spaces created for them to do wrongs, people will do wrongs. Not everyone, but some people will. And so, yeah, closing those loops we've talked about in the past with other people as well, and I'll bring this up with you, is that a third party person being responsible for whether it be the state themselves, through a third party vendor, whatever it is, of being the ones responsible for selecting the samples and bringing those samples to the laboratory, and it needing to have to be randomized, throughout basically the producer would have to show you the entire batch representation. So let's just say pre-rolls, 4,000 of them. Okay. You need to have 4,000 pre-rolls in front of me that are tubed, labeled, ready to rock and roll and go. Okay. And then I'm going to go select the batch size for testing, which is, I think, 7 grams for pre-rolls. And I'm going to go take that to the lab and go put it in for testing. Something like that. Or even we've talked
that would definitely keep people more honest, right? Because people always, it's like people who want inflated numbers with potency and terpenes. It's like they're gonna pick the best representative. Yep.
Clock it. Every day they do it. And that's, again, another bad look to you guys. And let me explain how, not meaning OKCDL, but just labs in general, okay, is because when they cherry pick them samples and they go get that high chase number that they want off of it, okay, and then the rest of the buds or the carts or whatever maybe isn't as strong, not necessarily carts usually, but you know what I'm saying. So, but you'll have a potency discrepancy. And in the state of Oklahoma, they're only allowed, a 15% variance, I believe.
Sorry, I got distracted by one of the comments on the screen. It got me. Can you ask one more time?
That's good. No, you're good. In Oklahoma, whenever a producer brings in a product and say you get the COA, right? And then I go buy it at retail and I have it tested, or OMA secret shop it and has it tested. There's a variance usually, regardless. So I think it's a 15% variance that they're allowed, right?
I'd have to open the OMA rules. Honestly, I don't have them all memorized.
No, you're good. I don't either, obviously.
Cole is really great about that. He has everything memorized. Like if there's ever anything we have a question about, if we feel like we're going to have to go double check the OMA rules, we just call Cole real quick.
Yeah.
He's kind of our quality assurance. He has final say on like what's legal, what's not.
Right. Well, I want to say
I definitely
kind of go.
I love it whenever I was going to say I love it when people are good at their jobs and like responsibilities are delegated well. It's the bulk of whatever. My focus tends to be on testing, instrumentation, like the actual lab side of things, and less on compliance. And I'm aware there's 6 rules that I have to comply with in pesticides. But in terms of like sampling, I know we have the transporters. Transporters have their own set of rules, right? And it's I leave that to Brandon and Shane. It's
right. So another suggestion we had on keeping sampling more honest, and I don't know that there's storage enough to do something like this, but example, if a grower has a fail, okay, they're allowed to retest it again. I don't know if they're allowed to retest it in another lab or not for sure, but I know they can retest it. And if it passes, then they can, there's a process to prove that the product is safe. And if it's a failed product, we had recommended maybe at that point, whenever a fail does come on a product, for the batch to have to be brought to the lab at that point to then do random sampling homogenization testing with, Do you have any thoughts on that?
Yeah, so there's a lot that processors can do to remediate products. It's like flour that's failed safety testing. Like you can turn, if it's microbial, right? You can turn that into distillate or like other forms of concentrate to help kill that off. It's we actually have processors who send us R&D samples that are riddled with pesticides, but they send all of that through columns, which strip it of the strip the pesticides out, right? It's and like you will lose product doing that, but the product that comes out of the other end passes safety testing. Pesticide remediation isn't something that's necessarily legal in this state, at least as it's written in the rules, I believe. I think that's something like it's doable, that like the science is sound. I don't know why they wouldn't include it. There's money to be made there.
I think they can remediate now after receiving a fail. I do believe they can by law.
Well, solvents, I know solvents you can, because solvents are easy to drive off. So if you have a solvent fail and distillate, like you just apply more heat and let it evaporate, you just need more time and heat.
Yeah.
So it's like there are some safety tests that they allow remediation for, but I want to say the last time I read the rules that pesticide remediation wasn't legal still. But also, this is also a good argument for the state operating a quality assurance lab, right? Like they have all the money in the world, to do this well. It's unthinkable, honestly, that they don't have a quality assurance lab yet, and in my mind, it's because they don't want the industry to succeed.
And
failing, and if they fail to, as soon as there's more working parts, the harder it is to shut the program down. So if they had a functioning QA lab, it would be more difficult to say that, hey, we can't provide a safe product, and we should just outlaw this again.
Yeah, that QA lab is a point of contention big time, man, because like they've already spent the $10 million to, pay out the contract on the Metis lab, which was contracted through the state to do the state's QA testing. That was supposed to be, I think, like a 5-year contract or maybe even a 10-year contract, and it only lasted 2 years. So somebody got paid a lot of damn money for a lot of nothing. And then now, we were appropriated back in, I want to say 2022, for the current QA lab. I want to say they have it at over $1 million a year in lab labor. And I'm so confused at how you got over $1 million in lab labor when you're working on partial equipment and not doing your full capacity job. So Yeah, I
mean, I can't speak for the state, but I know the kind of money that they take in taxes, we could do a lot more.
Absolutely. So we've got a couple of good comments coming on over here. And Charlie, which I think you met him at the rally, my dreadheaded hippie boyfriend.
Oh, yeah.
But he says the Graves Farm CO2 Pineapple Express was the one that's failed for the 19 pesticides. So to those of you out in the public, again, pay attention to the products that you're consuming, get your receipts, keep them if you didn't mind, because, you might need them one day. So
I'd say consider growing at home or find somebody to grow for you.
Yes. We've got another one here. It says, this is the first time that I've seen you on YouTube. Love y'all, Summer. You're so informed, and we need the testing and knowledge here because I'll not ever go dispensary. I've spoken about it to you. Thanks. To you understood. Thanks. I think I understood all that. Let's see. Really quick here. We got your stance on marijuana. Thank you, hippie, for that. Anthony Smith says, hey.
Peace.
Right. And Skylar says, hi to Anthony. I'm just going to run through these real quick. Oh, okay. Here's the other one. Charles said, Graves is suing Parker and I for $75,000 each, countersuing us because of our First Amendment rights. And so when you talk about your rights and lawsuits and criminal suits and stuff like that, or criminal charges, so after we started testing and we got some of the test results back that were bad for their products, Charlie and I went up to the Capitol, one of our first few times going up there. And Charlie had one of the banners for the company from whenever he worked for them that he used to take and do like pop-ups or something like that with. Okay. And it said Graves Farms sold here. Ellie, quit. It said Graves Farms sold here. And we took a piece of white poster board and over the sold part, we put inhaled here or pesticides inhaled here. And so it said Graves Farms pesticides inhaled here. And it was me and Charlie hanging up this banner at the state capitol. And yeah, we got countersued for $75,000 each for putting that on Facebook.
Wow.
I was like, damn. Of course, it's probably not going anywhere, but it's still no fun to be countersued.
Yeah, no, there's a lot of frivolous lawsuits, but that's the thing, right? Like, it would be one thing if I had been charged with a crime for suing someone, but like I wasn't charged with a crime for suing someone. I was charged with the crime for alleged social media post, and they excluded the lawsuit and the receipt that I sent them for $5,000 from discovery, right? They're not wanting to be honest about the situation. Like, everyone deserves their day in court, and then like let the cards fall where they may. Like, the jury will decide the facts of the case.
Right.
But this prosecutor has been reprimanded for dishonesty, and he's excluding exculpatory evidence. It's like they're not being honest, and it's well documented, and so much so. We might have talked about this before we started streaming, but it's like I sent all this information to all the local attorneys. That way, they know how dishonest the prosecutor's office is. And now both the prosecutors have asked to be recused from the case. Like, they don't want to prosecute me anymore, but they're also not willing to drop the charges. They don't want to prosecute, but they're not willing to drop the charges. Like, that's the screwy part.
Right. So how long can they keep you in limbo like that?
Well, if I had honest attorneys, like I'd have an answer, but it's I don't know. They're kicking the can. That's all I can say.
I don't know if there are quote unquote honest attorneys anymore.
Yeah.
Charles made another comment, but I think he's got this information wrong. He says Greenleaf Lab got $330 million in fines in Oklahoma and has a lab in New Jersey, and that is inaccurate, Charles. Yep, it was high grade labs. There you go.
I was gonna say I thought Greenleaf Labs were gonna be fined. I don't know the story. I wish I had actually. I saw you had the manager or the owner on, and he talked about, like, I wish I recalled more of that right now. But yeah, as I'm not going to speak as to what happened there.
Yeah, no, he was very forthcoming, upfront, transparent about what had taken place back in like August of last year, and again what took place approximately 6 months later. So I definitely appreciated him coming on and speaking and being honest about what had gone on and why and how they had made corrective actions and things like that. So I'm the queen of 22 second chances in life. And I believe that everyone, if they find that they're doing something that is, quote, against a rule or regulation, and they choose to fix it and correct it and make it right, then I'm good with that part. You know what I mean? So now, keep doing something wrong in this industry and you'll get found out. Ask Alien House Extracts, ask Ox Distribution, Flathead Meds.
I mean, they want to dismantle the industry. So yeah, if they can catch a bad actor and remove a license, they're going to try to. They want to reduce the size of the industry. So
yep,
absolutely. Don't be that guy.
Charlie says, Greenleaf is awesome. Sorry for the confusion. Thank you, Charlie. Okay. So is there anything that you can think of that we have not covered yet? We got about another 10 minutes or so. And I think the only thing I can think of for sure I want to mention is that I would love to see the existing labs in our state, which mine, by the way, guys, in Oklahoma, not only are they bottlenecking the license numbers for the growers, processors, and manufacturers, they are also doing it to our labs. Because last year we had about 25 licensed labs still. I want to say we're sitting at around 17 now. And
I think we're less than that. It's somewhere between 9 and 13.
Holy hell. So
yeah.
I'd like to see the labs do lab roundtables on their own. I know it's something that it used to be done through OMA, and obviously working with the agency is very difficult to make corrective changes.
Well,
And
this is kind of, there's a glut of people with chemistry degrees who are not working in a field that requires a chemistry degree. Like OMA has the money to hire people who they could train to audit these labs. And it's like, that's what we need, skilled auditors as much as we need skilled analysts, because there's so many ways to commit fraud in the lab. I don't even know if I want to go into it right now, but it's like, we need skilled auditors as much as we need skilled lab members. And the state is the one, like, they have the money and they aren't saving it for a rainy day. Like, this is like, the money is supposed to be like spent on the patient, like ensuring their safety. And they're neglecting their duty.
Yeah.
In my mind.
Could you see the labs that are left in our state currently being willing to come back together again and, have those constructive conversations with how to progress and how to move agency legislation and stuff forward to help the labs?
I don't know. So it's that's a tough one. Honestly, it's I wasn't aware of how much infighting and just drama there was in the industry till very recently. But it's like one of the things I learned about Missouri's rec and medical marijuana industry is they have a lobbying organization that everyone contributes up. Like, the lobbying organization donates $250,000 to politicians every quarter. So it's like they have people lobbying on their behalf in the state of Missouri. So the politicians in Missouri are much more friendly to people from the industry because of those donations. And it's like, I don't know what it would take to motivate people to do something like that. Because whenever I was campaigning, the one thing I didn't want to do was ask people for money. Like, I'm very comfortable asking for votes, but it's like, I know, like, there was a lot of financial pressure just because the market's saturated and people didn't necessarily want to donate. So it's a tough question. It's
So my understanding is that we actually do have some cannabis lobbyists in the state of Oklahoma, specifically through the PCA, actually.
Well, this is news to me. Now I'm getting schooled.
I don't know it to be fact, but I think I remember, her name, man, I don't want to get it wrong here. Okay. So y'all do not quote me on it. I'm not 100% right, but I think her lady's name is Brandy. And I think she mentioned about them having a lobbyist, but I'm not 100% positive. I could be wrong, and I could have heard it from someone else. So please don't judge me on that part.
Well, I know lobbyists need funding, and so I don't necessarily know where that'd be coming from. And politicians have deep pockets. They want a chunk of change.
Yeah, but I don't believe that we should have to line their pockets to get them to do the job we elected them to do.
I mean, I don't disagree, but if you want results, I don't know. It's just, it feels like there's been a lot of negativity building around the industry since medical has passed. It was popular originally, but then because it was very liberal and it expanded so quickly, there's a lot of backlash that we're still coming to terms with.
Well, I mean, I don't agree definitely with paying off politicians to do their job. That seems like a pay-to-play politics type mentality, similar to what people would say we have pay-to-play labs, And I guess I would also ask, would be one of my last questions. Do you feel like that the pay-to-play lab market in Oklahoma has reduced any in the last 3 years?
Definitely, because I mean, there's definitely been bad labs that have lost their license. It's like the first one that comes to mind is Fast Labs down in OKC. It's whenever I heard about them and like what they were doing is like, that is a beautiful bit. Well, it's terrible for the patient, but in terms of making a lot of money, it's a beautiful business model, right? You just print C of A's, you take the cash and the sample, and then you don't even have instrumentation to test it. So you have no expenses. It's all profit. So it's like, yeah, there are definitely bad labs like that have been pushed out.
You're good.
So yeah, I mean, the state's definitely made progress in terms of eliminating bad actors. There's more work to do. Part of that could be improved on, like you said, third-party sampling, letting other people go and sample the product. Round-robin testing. That, although I think that should be the regulatory body who oversees that, because if you continue to fill round-robin test, it indicates you don't know what you're doing, and that's a safety hazard. Your PT should be sent to the state. It's I mean, there are procedures that could be adopted that don't cost a lot of money, but it doesn't seem like we have people in charge who want to see the industry succeed, or necessarily, I'll leave it at that, succeed.
I would definitely agree. I know you're not willing to throw a name out there, but I am. Dictator Barry doesn't want to see this industry succeed. So she was against this industry when she went into the position that she's in.
But I mean, so she was appointed by Stitt, though, right? And like in his lame duck session, he's come out and said he wants to dismantle it. So it's like, if she wants to remain in that job for future administrations, or if she just wants a job in government in the future at all, like, she knows that she has to toe the party line.
She's out of there, actually. She's coming out of OMMA. She got that other job where she's over all of the different licensing boards.
So I mean, she got a promotion though by
Stitt.
Yeah, but I mean, but for following basically his will, right? Like,
yep. She used to tell us, like, we went to a PCA meeting one time. I think it was November 23. I'm really great with dates, by the way, sometimes. But anyways, we went to the PCA meeting. It was the first time that I had ever actually met Director Barry, and at the time, Executive Director Barrett Brown, and I think it might have been either Ashley Kroll or Naomi that came to that event. And I remember specifically that Director Barry was talking about the agency being in its infancy and how it was like building an airplane in the sky. And my instantaneous thought to that was, well, you can't build an airplane in the sky because it's going to fucking implode, like straight up, it's going to implode. And it's taken time, and I'm sure that some people think the agency's done a great job. I just don't know very many that feel that way, or the leadership in it.
Well, people who wanted to see the size of the industry curtailed, they probably think it's being successful in that regard, like the moratorium, licenses being revoked. Yeah. It's I mean, they probably like that part, but it's like the idea, if part of the agency's duties is to ensure the safety of the product, like, you would have a functioning QA lab in 6 months. You would hire people qualified to build a lab, and then you would empower them to get it done. And that they aren't doing that.
And I'm sure you know that Lee Rose, the former science director, he retired January 30th. And then we got the guy named Bobby in there. But then I think last week, OMA posted looking for hiring new people again, and patient services and something else and science. And I was like, is Bobby gone now too?
Yeah, it's I don't keep up with OMA necessarily. I leave that to Cole and Matthew. But man, that would be, knowing nothing else, like, that would be a tough position to accept, because you're just like, is there job stability? Like, it's, if you don't think they want the industry to succeed, it's like, are you, for somebody who's actually interested, it's like, are they going to support you in that interest and in doing well? It would be a difficult job to accept. Yeah, knowing the headwind you face.
I agree, it would. Well, Kelly, is there any last minute ads? You want to plug your website one more time?
Yeah, I would say go to socialmediaprosecution.com if you want to see what the First Amendment being prosecuted looks like. I've shared legal documents, attorney-client emails, receipts, reprimands from the Missouri Supreme Court. I've shared a lot, and I'm going to keep sharing. I know they tried to silence me, but I'm not going to stop.
That's right. They tried to silence me too, but I ain't shutting up either. I got a loud mouth.
I'd say thank you for having me.
Absolutely. Charlie is ending it out, and he says that they want to keep more bars and liquor stores than dispensaries in Oklahoma. And man, isn't he right? So go find a dispensary near you, shop a tested product, tell your bud tender you love them, and don't get in trouble. So, all right, guys, that is all we've got for this week's show. And give me 1 teeny second. Next week on Thursday evening, my guest is going to be, drum roll, please, safety meeting. And we're going to have a safety meeting, and we're going to talk about bluegrass music and Creek Fest, Oklahoma, July 9th, 10th, and 11th in Locust Grove, Oklahoma. So stay tuned and catch you next week. Have a great day. Peace out, y'all.
Summer Parker leading the way, shining bright like the healing rays. 420 patients, we stand as one. Safe access for everyone. Oh, we rise up, lifted higher. Medicine fueled by love.